Well, I'm back, sitting on a rock by Lake Natoma. This time not in the river. And I don't have my journal once again. Which is why I'm gonna do this for the second time. Never been to this spot before. There's Folsom Boulevard over there. The river and the setting sun is over there. There's... Let's see, what do I want to talk about? I don't know, I've had a lot of things on my mind lately. And I've definitely changed a ton in the past, like, I don't know, a couple months. There's just have been a lot of changes in my life, and that, I don't know, that can, like, be overwhelming sometimes. But, I mean, I think change is good, mostly. But it's definitely it's easy to get caught up in it and then, like, forget. Like, I've just been more dynamic lately. And so, even though, like, my core beliefs and, like, my main values and, like, who I really am, like, has not changed at all. It's changed a little bit, but, like, the main things, like, are still there. Like, I still am the same person. And when things are changing around that, it can get easy to, and I have, like, been caught up in that at times, and, like, forgotten to like, remember the things that, like, I really do care about, and that, like, really, really is me. And I love coming to just, like, being outside in, like, places like this that are just, like, beautiful, and where it's just, like, away from everything, and so the only thing that's left is, like, me and who I really am. And so then when I'm in, like, down here at Lake Natoma, or, like, in similar places that are, like, that just, like, are, that it's just me and, like, the world with, like, that, like, forces me to just think about myself and, like, the things that I really care about, and it gets me away from the things that I, like, can get caught up in at times that, like, distract me from, like, what I really am and what I really care about. And so I love coming to, like, just, like, being alone out here in similar places to this, because it, like, brings me back to that, and, like, it just makes me more self-aware of, like, who I am, and puts the things that I like, can get caught up in at times, like, in perspective with, like, with the things that I really care about. And so, like, it's much more easier when you step back from the things that you can get caught up in to, like, reevaluate them and just, like, assess whether they, like, do align with who you really are, or whether they don't. And so then I think just, like, being in places like this and just thinking about that, like, helps me like, it helps me better understand my life more than anything else does, I think. And yeah, I don't know, I just, like, being out here, like, it puts my life, my everyday, like, the things I get caught up in perspective with my own life, but it also puts my life in perspective with the rest of the world. Because when I, like, am out here, like, I am just out here, I'm not worrying about anything else, and I have the freedom to just, like, come outside and into nature and like beautiful places around me whenever I want, and I have that freedom, and it like makes me appreciate that I have that, because I obviously like intellectually know that like almost everyone like that has ever lived like has not had that freedom, and like has had much like bigger things to like worry about, and like bigger things in their life that are like my life is just so much easier than everyone else's, or not everyone else's, but like most people that have ever lived. Like my life is just like objectively easier, and it's much easier for me to be happy. And like in our society there's a lot of stigma around like invalidating your feelings and your like problems, because like that's obviously an unhealthy thing at times for people to do, if they like, because people can do that and then they just like do that in a self-deprecating way, where they just like, oh, I feel bad, but like I shouldn't feel bad, but I still feel bad, and that just makes them feel even worse, and they like push their feelings aside. But when I feel like invalidating my feelings, or like not my feelings, but like invalidating my problems is like the best thing that I can do, because I don't invalidate them. It works for me because I invalidate them in a way that like makes me grateful for what I do have. And like when I'm happiest is when I can do that the most, when I'm like can successfully invalidate my problems and then like actually like feel not bad about them anymore, because I like am grateful for everything else, because I have so much, and like my life is so just like good. And I don't know, that can be easy to forget, but like it's true. And I've been given this like great opportunity, this great like life where it's so easy for me to be happy, and that's like an extreme privilege. Like I wish it weren't a privilege. I wish that were reality for like everyone, but like it is a privilege because not everyone has that. Most people don't. And with this privilege, like I should obviously use it to try to help other people have this privilege too, and like make other people's lives better. But I mean, like with this, like I should also take advantage of it and like use it to like actually be happy, because like, and I do that by recognizing that like I am privileged, and by being grateful for that privilege, because I mean I think that, well, happiness for me at least is just like being content with like being content with my life, and that comes from understanding what I have and being grateful for it. Yeah, and so when I'm happiest is when I take a step back and be grateful for what I have. And which is why I love coming outside and just being because it's easy to forget that like there's nothing else going on in life other than a bunch of people that just are. Everyone's just like being. And so yeah, like there's nothing more to it than that. Like we just are. And so when you like, at least for me, when I like fully just like am and forget about all the other things that aren't important, and I just like am present, that's a beautiful thing that I like makes me feel really good. More than makes me feel really good, that's a non-descriptive word. It just like just connects me. Connects me to myself and to the world and to other people. And just like makes it easier to remember what is really important to me, what I care about, and who I am. And so I get less often get caught up in the things that aren't important to me. And so it helps me be happy. And there's been a lot of changes in my life, that, I don't know, that are, important to me and, that matter. But, throughout all of that, I'm gonna change a lot, throughout my life, and that's a good thing, that's necessary, that's, I wouldn't be a person if I didn't change and grow. But throughout all of that, throughout all the change, throughout everything in my life, coming outside to places like this just helps me connect with who I am. And because who I am is always important. It might change some, but it's always important for me to, come back to that, because that's what's important to me. That's what's important for everyone, is figure out who they are and, what they believe in, and then, connect to that. At least that's, how my understanding of life works from my perspective. I've realized more that, other people work differently than I do. And, there's things that I'm, saying that I just, very passionately believe. They just aren't... They don't always work for everyone else, and that's, I don't know, that just is. And that's, really interesting, but difficult to, get my head around. And so I think... I don't know, yeah, all these things that I'm saying, thinking and believing and writing and talking about, this is how it works for me. And I'm sure it works similarly for a lot of people, but it definitely works differently for a lot of people. And so I definitely, even though I found some answers for things that really work for me, and those might be similar and help other people, but they're definitely not going to be the answer for everyone. And so I don't know, I just hope that everyone finds figures out what does work for them. And I don't know, that's something I'm super fascinated by, is what works for different people and how other people think and work. And I've not fully figured that out, but I've done that a lot for myself, and I'm really, really happy with that. And I want other people to feel similarly. But anyway, yeah, what works for me is, among other things, is being out here and just connecting to who I am, connecting to the world, and connecting to myself. And actively thinking about things through writing in my journal and doing whatever this is. It helps me connect to myself, which is why I like doing it so much. I think that's all. Yeah. Isn't the sunset pretty? Bye.